I'm such a KD fan, and it seems as though because I rank him lower than some, I don't think he's near LeBron's in his own category. I really think LeBron James is worth practically 2 other MVP caliber players. Like you have LeBron, they have KD and Steph. Now, if you matched up all-stars, it's an even match. Like that's how much better. Like, he's twice as good as these guys. Okay, now you have the rest of the pack, and I think KD is there somewhere with AD, Kawhi, Antetokounmpo, right? Like that's the. But I have him lower than some. So it seems like when you do that, you're just being honest. You're against the guy. I'm not against KD. KD came into this league as a kid. You know, for all the posturing you hear, and I was the same way when I was like 21. I'm a grown man. No, you're not. 21 years old, you're not a grown man. Not in this day and age. You know, 30 is the new 21. Guess what? Guess how old KD is? KD is a man. We are seeing him, as most people, it's just they're not in the public eye this way, go from a kid, a boy into a man. We see it. He was 19 when we got 18, but in the league, 19 when we got introduced to this guy. He's 30. Like there's a big, so what was, he was uncomfortable in his own skin once upon a time. He had burner accounts and all this kind of stuff. And we tried as the media lazily, and by the way, this is human nature. We categorize easily. It's how stereotyping happens, but we just like to slap on a label to someone. So it seemed easy. KD's the good small town country kid. He's just a simple guy, wears his backpack, and he's a good teammate and this and that. No, the reality is much more interesting than the label we try to put on him. KD's kind of angry. He got a chip on his shoulder. KD is more complicated than we tried to make him out to be. And KD is, and also he's professional and about winning and trying to be, or at least create the perception that he is the best player in the world. The world is more interesting. Actually, by the way, this was a whole shift in sports, especially throughout the last century. It's called the new journalism. Once upon a time, the sports media just told stories how Babe Ruth wound up with a venereal disease and everyone said he had a bellyache. That's why he missed the season, right? And eventually it was like, oh, guess what, everyone? Eventually it was, by the 1960s, Mickey Mantle's a jerk, right? Like, it's more interesting to tell the real story. And what I see from KD is the real story is much more interesting than the BS story we tried to just lazily slap on him. And the maturity that he's showing and the kind of control he's taking over his life and his career and the fact that he seems to have, it's dawned on him at some point, I can't be what everyone else wants me to be. I'm not going to satisfy them all anyway. I'm going to do me. Good for KD. I do not mean to sound patronizing or condescending in the media about an athlete, but how can you not be proud of that just as someone in the sports world who talks about these guys, right? I feel good about that. I'm glad that I'm seeing this. This is maturity to me and growth, and I love it.
Look, man, here's the reality. KD made a move that you're going to be able to look at years from now, look back, and see him as one of the greatest players that ever played a game of basketball. If he never joins the Golden State Warriors, you don't ever look at KD in that light. Now he's at a point in his career, he's got the championship, he's got the MVP, he's got the scoring titles. He's going to make a move, D. Jones, that's actually going to make himself happy. Is it going to be in L.A.? Likely not. I don't think he's in a position to join LeBron. He's telling you that doesn't float his boat. He's not the bells and whistles. That could be the Los Angeles Clippers. It's still L.A., still a good team, and there's no nonsense there. I work with the team. I see what's actually going on. Could it be New York? If he wants to take the media route, come back home. But very realistically, he could go back to Golden State for a 1-and-1. But he's going to make that choice. Nobody's going to go dictate to him what's actually going to happen. And also, we got to throw out the conversation about LeBron where he said, listen, it's a toxic environment. You know what? I don't think KD actually meant that in the way that he said it. He brought it out with Rick Bucher, and we have a podcast. We discussed it a while back. And the reality of the matter was, yes, when you play with LeBron, you take a lot of adversity. A lot of things come your way, whether it's just or not. And he's not in a position in his career to take that on. And that's not a knock to LeBron.
Well, it's not. And if it wasn't for KD, I would probably have 2 championships as a coach. Because when he got to Golden State, he took them to another level. So I think KD deserves to approach free agency however he wants to approach it. If he wants the bells and whistles, if he don't want the bells and whistles, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I have a problem with the toxic comment that he made, according to LeBron James. I'm gonna read something to you. 128-77, 41-20, 3 NBA Finals appearances, 1 championship in 2016. That was the coaching staff that I was on, led by Tyronn Lue. That doesn't sound like a toxic time. That sounds like a damn good time. And that's what goes with being with LeBron James. Okay, there's a responsibility that you have to have when you join with him, whether you're a coach or teammate, whatever. So I don't like the toxic word. I just think that you have to be more professional when you're with LeBron.
But doesn't his toxic comment, taken out of context, sound super negative toward LeBron? And probably there's stuff underneath there. He's coming for LeBron. I mean, like, LeBron's like, hey, come and play with me. And KD's like, I'm coming for you, right? I don't think he's ever going to get there, but he's coming for him. And by the way, like, the credit he gets for being 2-time Finals MVP when he deserved one of them. The first one, come on, LeBron was by far the best player on either team. By far, it wasn't close. And last year, okay, fine. You know, if the 73-win team adds KD, didn't have to be KD. It could have been Kawhi. It could have been a lot of guys. They're not going to be beaten. I don't know. He's trying to reverse engineer his greatness there. I don't give him so much credit for that, actually. But what KD was saying about toxicity was that the media crush around LeBron is such that it creates a toxic environment because LeBron is such a big star. Really, when you read it, that's really what he meant, it seems like anyway. So the point is, what happened? He makes the comment. We all jump on it, take it out of context. Ooh, KD is saying it's toxic about LeBron. But that's what KD is saying. You can't open your mouth around LeBron, and LeBron's name can't be in your mouth without it turning into a media circus. We're kind of proving KD's point.
Hear this reality, though. LeBron quite possibly is one of the smartest players I've ever competed against, at least, and maybe ever played the game. So in the length of a long 82-game season, and then he goes to the NBA Finals year after year after year, he's going to cruise in the regular season.